Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm back again to make another video in the new year. Happy New Year, by the way. Cause shit, man, I worked out yesterday, and when it comes to my schedule and things like working out and shit, it don't matter to me if it's Christmas, if it's Hanukkah, if it's or if it's New Year's Eve. As long as it ain't thundering and lightning and raining and shit, I'm out there. That's been my motto. It's almost like the FedEx promise, or the FedEx motto, like, cause me coming from Memphis and everything, it goes without saying, like most Memphians, I have put in some years at FedEx, and I just remember when I was in the recruitment station or whatnot, when they, processing your shit for like 5 hours on end, because it takes a long time. And yeah, I remember them days, being over there on Lamar and Democrat, and you gotta be like within the first 64 motherfuckers who show up, and it's like first come, first serve. And if you don't show up, or if you don't meet the deadline, they close the door on your ass. And I think what they started doing eventually was letting mofos come back later on in the day. But I remember, like, we talking about 2005, it was just different. I think if you didn't meet the deadline and the cutoff, you had to come back the next day. Telling you, I swear I be trying to tell folks what Memphis was, if not still is. Because I promise you, ain't a damn thing changed about this city. If anything, it's gotten worse, way worse. Yeah, I was just talking to my partner back from way back in the day when, because I keep on telling y'all about the fact that I have been formally trained in the martial arts of between ninjutsu and FMA, or Filipino martial arts, if you will. And I like to call them, and I think in my old videos I would call them my ninjutsu brethren. They were like, how fraternities have frat brothers. So we was basically on the real, we was basically a fraternity of killers. That's how I saw it. It was almost like a Hashishin fraternity, if you will. And within that, so yeah, this is one cat whom I consider my one of my ninjutsu brethren, who just happened to be a Jonin, which means the lead ninja. And I guess he hadn't been keeping up with the news as far as all the homicides going on out there. Because, like I said, I still got access to, I've said this before, I still got access to Fox 13 and WREG, News Channel 3. And so I know what's going on out there. I know y'all they damn near got 400 homicides out there, if not more. Or damn near. I haven't checked on the news today, but I'm pretty sure there's a report out there talking about how many folks got their wigs pulled back. Got their wigs split. Some bullshit. But anyway, I'm getting way off on a tangent. But I remember during the recruitment video, it was this lady who was basically saying, whether it's rain, snow, sleet, or fog, they out there. It don't matter what precipitation they got going on out there, they out there. So when it comes to me, doing this gym thing, this home gym thing, like I said, unless it's raining, the reason why I say, I'll hold it off or postpone it if it's raining, because rain comes thunder. And last thing I need to be doing as being out there with a whole bunch of metal in my hand while it's thundering and lightning. But if it's snowing, I'm out there. If it's cold than a motherfucker, I'm out there. But anyway, so yeah, that was just me explaining why, I've been tired as hell and basically been sleeping all day. I just woke up about an hour or two ago and was finna go to the damn gym, but the motherfucker closed early because of New Year's. That's some bullshit. Because I looked at the the internet. What it said on the internet, it looked like it said it was just like a regular day. I know I should have known better than that. I should have known better than that. I knew they were gonna pull. I should have known they was gonna pull some bullshit like that. I should have known. So now I'm back home, or near home anyway, because I had to get out. I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do something. It means I just gotta walk the block, walk through Glendale a little bit, and I guess reflect on basically how I'm gonna tear the club up this year. Cause I promise you, bro. And I remember I told my brother this a couple years back. I told him that was gonna be the year. I think it was 2020. I told him, because he was staying with me at the time, in this group home I've been in, that this gonna be the year that I'm just gonna be all the way with the shits. All the way with the shits. Unfortunately, the pandemic happened. And it set all of us back. Everybody got set back. I got set back. So it's almost like the past 3 years, prior to, this year, of course, between 2020 and 2023, it's almost like I've just been, it's almost like I took 3 steps back. Yeah, it's like I took 3 steps back, and between that time, I had to make 5 more steps forward. At least that's what it's felt like. But one thing I can say is that I never stopped pushing. I never stopped progressing. And I've just been thinking, because I got my eyes and ears on the news. I know what's going on. I know, like, all the bullshit that's going on, like up in the church, like with this whole scandal going on with TD Snakes and allegations between him and Puff Diddy, P Diddy. Basically doing some rainbow roll shit. Basically doing some Illuminati shit. Basically doing some Hassan Campbell shit, because like Hassan Campbell said, like he always points out, there's a door. There's a door. There's 3 doors. There's the right side. That's for the straight and narrow folks. There's the left side. That's for so and so, I forget. And then there's a door. Yeah. There's a door like straight through, the one in the middle. So yeah, I remember. So yeah, the first door, which I believe is on the right, I think is on the right, you do your own thing. No help, no funny stuff. The left door, you got to kill somebody. You got to make a blood sacrifice. The door in the middle, you got to bend over. You got to pull down your underpants and lean over and basically say, "Give it to me, daddy." And word has it, I ain't been paying too much Nevermind to it. I ain't been paying a whole lot of Nevermind to it. But word has it though that 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 TD Snake's been riding on the Skittles wagon. He been riding on that Skittles unicorn. He been chasing the rainbow. Now, I'm not gonna say a whole lot about that. Obviously, I don't condone it. I mean, that right there, that in and of itself, because we saw this not too long ago, like with the late Bishop Eddie Long and what he was doing. This is the main reason why we've been ran up out the church. We've been up out the church for this very reason. And you would have, and these very same wolves in sheep's clothing, right, would have us believe that we're wicked, right? When you really take a panoramic look of things, when you really look into the spectrum of things, you begin to see, man, all kinds of homosexuality, all kinds of witchcraft, all kinds of sorcery going on up in that motherfucker. There was just, and then, to add on top of that, now that it's on my mind, to add on top of what TD Snakes has been on, there's been apparently this quote so-called prophetess. God damn, I hate the fact there's all these damn buses out here and shit. And yes, it's late, but it's only 8, so God, I can't stand this city. I swear to God, bro. And just for the record, I'm gonna keep talking about Denver, bro, because this shit, bro. Only thing that's keeping me here, y'all, is the money. If it was not for the money, what would I be doing here? Putting up with these fools. Anyway, so along with the allegations of TD Snakes playing with the rainbow roll with P. Diddy, there's been this prophetess, this sorceress. Really, that's what we should be calling her. She's a damn sorceress. Talking about how God gave her all these visions. Talking about basically claiming to prophesy TD Snake's death, really divinating his death, fortune telling his death on some divination shit. Because I'll be one to tell you though. I will be one to tell you. I should know about prophecy. I would like to think I do know about prophecy, because not all the time, it ain't every blue moon. I'm pretty sure prophets can relate. They get visions, they get dreams. It ain't every day. It don't work that way. Because anything less, it would be fortune telling. It would be soothsaying. It would be divination. Anything less than what we go through would be some sorcery shit. But as someone who has had visions and dreams and seen them come into fruition, I would tell you, it's not every day you get that. And when they do come, it could be years. It could be years before you had that dream or that vision or that thought. Case in point, I had a dream long ago back in Memphis that I was going to be out here in Denver. And lo and behold, here I am. And this is back in the time when I was in the thick of it. In the thick of Memphis. Didn't know what I was going to do, how I was going to get out of Memphis, even if I wanted to, which I did. But you know what they say, when there's a will, there's a way. When there's a will, there's a way. Especially when that will consists of, lines up with the Most High's will, right? So with all this said, I've been thinking about something. Because, I know New Year's has its pagan origins, I'm sure. I know for a fact. But, and I'm pretty sure, oh shit. I'm pretty sure, I'm gonna have to come into realizing some of the things that we're doing are pagan. I mean, we already know about Christmas. We don't fuck with Christmas. We don't fuck with Thanksgiving. We don't fuck with Halloween. But it's other things like New Year's, because I still hold myself to having New Year's resolutions, where it's basically where you build the resolve, you gain the resolve to do something in that year that you didn't do in the year prior, and you prioritize that shit. Like last year, my New Year's resolution was to break my plateau of 225 so that I could go on, get through, this bullshit that, I had going on. Because, like I told y'all, like I was, stuck on this gym routine and I wasn't getting any stronger. And I'm thinking to myself, well, damn, I've been in the gym for years and I can't even press 225, not even once. I was like, something's wrong with that. Like, nah, fuck that. And since then, man, this gym has been making it's almost like it's time. It's time. And that's the crux of my video, what I'm getting to. It's been making itself that much more useless than it was when I was getting up whenever I could to rush over there in hopes of having enough time to do enough bench press sets and then running on the tread. And while it kept me in shape, like I said, I wasn't getting any stronger. And I'm like, okay, that's a problem, because like I said, I've been working out since I was 18. I mean, at this point, for 20 years, I should be pressing 400 easy. But we're gonna get there. I'm gonna get there. And so like I said, now my max is 245. I mean, by the end of this month, I should be at 255. I mean, God willing, I hope so. Because I'm consistent. But I say all this to say, with all the bullshit that's going on, right? With the progress that I've made in my life, things that I had to do, things that, moving, and then all this news going on with folks who have more than enough money to put my ass in school to basically to pay for. Got so much money. These folks like TD Snakes and Creflo Dollars out here and P Diddy's got so much money. They could basically pay for the entirety of my college education, whatever I want to set my mind to go and get, and my side hustles, the things that I want to do on my own. Because I don't know if I told y'all this. Because all this video really is, it's a conglomeration of what's been going on and how that relates and pertains to me, and really should pertain to y'all. Because I don't know if y'all see it, but all that they're doing is showing us that it's our time, and their time is past. Their reign of terror, their reign of authority, whatever it is they had going on for the past 20, 30, maybe even 40, hell, maybe even 50 years, it's falling off. They're being exposed. Not just TD Snakes. I mean people who've been in general, who've been in positions of authority for however long and have been abusing their authority. And now they're in a time where they can't hold on to it anymore. The secrets are out. The things that I've always aspired to do are set right in front of my face. Because, like I said, you already know about the martial arts thing, that I've always been involved in. All these online subscriptions that I got access to with the tip of my fingertips. I mean, basically right at my fingertips. So that means no commuting, no dojo fees, no ridiculous ass dojo fees. And I've been thinking about this shit, man. I've been thinking about how, and like I said, I know it sounds like I'm all over the place, but I'm really not. I'm just I'm conglomerating all these different stories, but it all serves to basically make a point as far as being the proof that it is indeed my time. It's my time. And all these other folks who've been on the bullshit, you being removed from the board, you being scooted up out the way like a chess piece. You getting taken off your square like a chess piece, just like a chess man. And it don't matter whether you a pawn, and ironically enough, these are bishops like Bishop TD Snakes. Bishops are getting removed from the board. And the worst part and the crazy thing is, you ain't even getting taken up out of here by like no knight or no queen or no other enemy bishop. You getting taken up out the board by some pawns. Pawns taking you up out of here. That's crazy, right? But one thing, about chess is that no matter how powerful you are, you can be removed. You can be removed up out. It don't matter what you are. You can be removed up out of there by a pawn. You can be checkmated by a pawn. A queen can get taken up out of there by a pawn, and she's the most powerful piece on that board. But somebody told me this about almost 20 years ago. I remember I was 19 and I was driving through Bartlett. Like I said, I don't know if I told y'all this story, but I'm going to double it back in case I have told y'all about it. I was 19, and you 19 and you living in a town and it's not like I knew at the time that I was in the city that was third or second in the nation in poverty. I didn't know that at the time. I knew how it affected me, and for the life of me, I couldn't understand how come I couldn't keep money. I couldn't just seem to keep money in my pocket, no matter what I did, no matter where I worked, and all the frustration that came with it. But I remember going through Bartlett, and there was this guy who was basically like I think he was probably military. I'm pretty sure, he was ex-military, because he basically he sold martial arts equipment, and I dare say that he was like a ATA instructor, like I think that's the American Taekwondo Association instructor. I wouldn't know. I never did ATA. I mean, I did Taekwondo, but it was never ATA. So he was either a martial arts instructor, a martial arts supply salesman, or both. And he was ex-military, so I think he was retired anyway. And I asked him something, and mind you, I'm 19, so like you said, I'm this young whippersnapper trying to, basically figure life out. Long before I got out there and got to experience life at a young age. And I asked him, it was something to the effect of like, basically, what do I have to do to, basically be successful, to keep some money in my pocket so that, I can basically, you know what I'm saying? And he told me this. He said, and I'll never forget this, because years after the fact, it's just been like recently that I've started to remember what he told me. And he told me this: when it comes to work, when it comes to jobs, when it comes to this game called life, either you can work for the man or you can be the man. I didn't quite understand the weight of that back then, but I sure as hell understand the weight of that now. The weight of what he said. Like it's hidden different now. Some 17 years after the fact. Now that I'm 38 now. Like it hits different. It hits different, being 38 versus being 19. Fresh out of high school. Just completed my first semester of college. Because it was around the holidays that I had asked them this. And like I said, I just done my first semester as a freshman at the U of M. Long before, Memphis started offering me what Memphis has to offer. Just a whole gang of bullshit. And that's when the bullshit commenced. And I was in it. Like I said, I had my ups and downs. There was a time I had a brief moment of prosperity, but all the shit I had to go through to get to that point for that prosperity, I mean, it was tearing me apart. I had to work so many hours at AutoZone, then I had to turn right around after our shift to go to FedEx and put in my little 3 hours there. But they was working a ninja like a Hebrew slave, and I had to turn around and basically start all over again. But and in between that, I was maintaining something of a workout regimen. Whether I was working out at the U of M gym or working out at the local YMCA. I always prioritized that. And like I said, my max back then was like 235, but I was big as hell. But something eventually gave out. Like, FedEx fell off. Couldn't do that no more. I stuck around AutoZone for a little bit longer, probably about a good 3 more years. But dealing with ninjas, it got old, because both of them jobs. I didn't get fired from the jobs. I walked away from them jobs, both of them. Because like I said, that shit got old. And by when I say, I mean it got old, I mean it got like, niggas, the element. It got old dealing with them niggas. And I'm not talking about, you would think I would be talking about coworkers. That too, yeah. Both. Not just the customers, the coworkers, the shit. Niggas I had to work with, niggas going up in that stuff. I was like, this too much. This way too much. I've been doing this bullshit 4 years. It ain't like I can't do it. I've been doing it for 4 years. Fuck you talking. Shit, they was sending me in the places in South Memphis like 3rd and Bellevue and 3rd and Belts. And I wasn't dealing with that bullshit, not even over there, when they'd send me there. They should have kept me. And the fucked up thing about it is too, bruh, is that they could have, there was a time they sent me off Summer Avenue, like the main store on Summer Avenue, and I was getting it in. And it was cool in the game. But they sent me back to Getwell, because that's where I was hired. And there was all this bullshit about zoning, region, and all this and that. And I was like, you wasn't talking nothing about that when you wasn't saying none of that shit when you recommended that I go to the Summer. Like, I was getting ready to be sent there permanently, because I actually liked Summer. Summer was cool. And it was cool because, I always fucked with Summer Avenue. That was probably the most, I dare say it was the most interesting part of Memphis. Because that's where it had the most culture. That's where you had the authentic Chinese restaurants. That's where you had Doc Imports. That's where you had that Beishalin Kung Fu School. So it was convenient, and the nigga was making money. I could basically, I could stay, like, after I did my little shift, I could stay a little longer if I wanted to, get in some more hours, or I could leave when I wanted to, like, so, and I had a good reason to, because I was like, yeah, I got to go to work to FedEx, and they was cool with it. They was cool. And they had armed security after a certain, so anybody coming up in there with that bullshit was just going to get their brains blowed out. So I fucked with it, but like I said, it all came to a screeching halt, and I just said fuck them niggas, when they sent me back to Getwell. And that's when, shortly after that, years afterwards, yeah, that's when nigga got robbed. Because like I said, I gave them niggas 4 years. I was up in there from 2006 to 2010. And prior to this job that I've currently been in, I ain't never been at a job where I was actually a permanent employee that long. And I've been working since I was 16. But most of the work that I've done throughout my life, it was just temping. Because like I said, this Memphis we talking about. But AutoZone was the job, like I said, where I worked the longest prior to this job that I currently have been in since I moved out here to Colorado. And I've just been thinking to myself, between all that, haven't I done enough? Is it not time for me to be the man? I've worked for the man. I've been working for the man since I was 16. So that's what, 22 years? 22 years I've been working for the man. What do I have to show for it? What do I have to show for it? Little to nothing. So I tell you, man, with me being out here in Colorado and basically turning a new leaf, starting a new, clean slate, if you will, starting fresh, starting over, whatever you want to call it, and me being on my shit and being consistent with it for the past 6 years, I honestly believe, and I can honestly say, that it is indeed time. It's time. It's time to rebuke these garbage ass pastors. It's time to rebuke these garbage ass sorceresses. Because, like New Breed said, even though we know TD Snakes and Creflo Dollar for the charlatans that they are, we're not speaking death on them. We know better than that. We know that death and life are in the power of the tongue. We're just rebuking them because we see them for the snakes that they are. And it's so sad too because, like I said, I grew up like so many other Negroes. I grew up in the church. I ain't never been, prior to me being an Israelite, realizing that I was an Israelite, because it's not something that you become, it's something that you are. What you become is being in the know of it. That's the closest thing to becoming an Israelite. Is like, you don't, it's not something you become. It's like you don't become a black person, you are a black person. You started off that way. It's coming into the knowledge of that. But prior to that, I ain't never been no Nation of Islam. I ain't never been no Moorish Science. My whole life, all I've known is the church, the Christian church. With hooping, hollering pastors, just like TD Snakes. My whole life. The holy, whether it's your holier than thous, whether it's your saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost, whether it's your Kojic, whether it's your like I said, Kojic with Bishop G. Patterson, whether it's your TD Snakes, whether it's your World Overcomers, where I used to go to, whether it's your Greater Amandi Church, where I used to go to before I went to World Overcomers, with Bishop, ironically, Alton R. Williams, or your Pastor Bill Atkins. Yeah, that's how y'all know I'm from Memphis. Y'all like, bro, I ain't got a lie to y'all. I know these folks because I went there. What's there to lie about? What's there to lie about Greater Amani Church over where it used to be, over where my school was, my first elementary school over on Peabody, over on Midtown, or World Overcomers over out in Hickory Hill. And that in the first church being over by I forget the exact location, but I know they was over by FedEx. So damn near by Lamar and Democrat, pretty much. I ain't got no reason to lie to y'all. Shit, you can get the real story of Memphis hearing it from me, at least between what was going on between 1990 and 2017 when I left. But anyway, I just put two and two together, and I just thought to myself, I spent, due to the circumstances that I was in, right, I wasn't making a whole lot of money. So when I got a hold of money, because there was like a time and a space that I was actually making some, I was making some cheddar. And what I would do in that time frame, like I said, when I was working at FedEx and AutoZone, not making a whole lot of money. And if I'd known what I knew now, because when I was making way more money when I was temping as a temp than I ever was being permanent at FedEx or AutoZone. I was like, hell, for all this bullshit. Because I lived that lifestyle, because I was like, there was a time in my life where, like I said, I was working at FedEx and AutoZone. So that's two types of paychecks coming in. And then there was a time later on in my life, and all of this was in my 20s, but I was like 26, 27 at the time, where I was temping for a deco, and with a deco alone, I was getting paid weekly instead of bi-weekly. Of course, I was getting paid weekly at FedEx, so that was kind of keeping a nigga afloat until my bi-weekly checks from AutoZone came in. But at a deco, I was getting paid every week, and with that, I was able to afford my lifestyle, which was basically an apartment that was not too terribly. I mean, it was definitely a bit more than my first apartment, because my first apartment was like $410. But this Memphis dollars we talking about now, it ain't Colorado dollars. And my second apartment, it was like close to probably like $500-600 or so, something like that. I mean, I can't imagine how much rent is now with everything going up. And I bet y'all pay haven't gone up. Shit, knowing Memphis, shit. But between that time though, I was taking ninjutsu and Kali classes with our instructor, and that's, like I said, that's how I met this dude, and we've been talking back and forth since. Like he moved out to Utah just a couple of years before I moved out to Colorado. So, we be chatting it up every now and then, right? So then he left our sensei left in 2008, and I was like 22 at the time. So even though he left, I was like, just because this man left don't mean that, and I may not be able to afford Memphis Judo and Jiu-Jitsu, because I don't know if they're still there, but that was the thing for me, was like, that was the hallmark, because there was, Memphis Judo and Jiu-Jitsu was pretty much like one of the few MMA gyms that we had in the Mid-South. I know there's this one cat, Jeff Mullen, he had his thing going, and he was actually training folks like Rampage Jackson, before he went and got big and went on to, fight in the UFC and Pride, and, moved to Japan. I mean, I actually remember these things. I remember seeing, y'all hearing it from the horse's mouth, how I saw Rampage Jackson. He was actually, I remember one time he was going in there, I was going in there. I walked up in there one time. He was basically teaching somebody how to do damn, I can't stand these cars, y'all. Damn. As soon as I be up here trying to say something, it be this loud as, shit, get on my motherfucking nerves. And anyway, yeah, so I was taking, at the University of Memphis, I was taking like Judo and Aikido. And so just for the fuck of it, I would go to attend like class where you had these amateur cage fighters train. And like I said, some were professional, because like I said, Rampage Jackson was one of them. And ironically enough, this the place where they were training just happened to be over by my house. Because like I said, I lived in East Memphis, just like where the University of Memphis was. It took me hardly 10 minutes to get to the University of Memphis from my house. So I figured, why not? And I remember walking up in there, and God, I'm trying to remember what. I don't think it was a key lock. I think it's called an Americana. It's not the yeah, it's a key lock. Yeah, key lock. Because the other way around is the Kimura. The Kimuras, when you put them, and I should know, I put somebody in the Kimura. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I told y'all about that incident where some scraggle there go help me at knife point. Well, after I knocked her ass out, I put her in the Kimura. So he was putting this dude in the key lock, and he was instructing him how to do it, and dude was kind of resisting. Like, I don't know if he was resisting or he or if it just didn't go the right way, but he kind of cranked that shit a little hard, and I was like, Rampage Quinn got mad. He slick got mad, and he was like, yeah, man, I'm trying to show you how to do this, man, you over here. So he got mad at that fool. Like, damn, nigga, you finna break his arm, ain't it? Mad because the technique didn't work. So yeah, man, those are my memories. I remember all that shit, bro. I I remember them basically they putting us up against the cage fighters between the gym at the U of M, or that gym like that was over by my house. I remember that shit, man. And I remember how I wanted to be a part of this shit, and I always felt like I was just somebody who was just sitting on the bleachers or some shit, like you just didn't have access to that shit. And I mean, I've never been much of a sports individual. Like, I wanted to be involved in football, baseball, and everybody tried to involve me in this shit, and it never worked out. Because I was like, well, shit. Based on the bullshit that I'm being given, it probably wouldn't work out even if I did give a damn about some baseball, football, or basketball. I don't give a fuck about these sports. Because Lord knows I can't play basketball worth a damn. I can play football and baseball way better than I ever could some damn basketball. But I guess because of my height, I was often associated with basketball because I was a tall ass nigga standing at 5'10", or 5'9" anyway, throughout my teens. So I was often associated with basketball. Interestingly enough, that kind of stopped when my growth spurt stopped, because I stopped growing after 5'10". And now all of a sudden I'm a midget. I mean, I've been called lanky my whole life, and now I'm a midget. I'm about as tall as Muggsy Bogues or Mike Tyson, ironically enough. But yeah, man, so I'm looking at these places, right? Memphis Judo and Jiu-Jitsu, this gym, and my sensei's gym at his house, where I'm basically getting all this knowledge, or at the very least an introduction to Kali, Judo, Jiu-Jitsu, boxing, kickboxing, all this MMA stuff, right? But like I said, being in a town like that where my money was always looking funny, I mean, hell, I had enough trouble as it was, keeping up with my expenses so that, I could pay my sensei how much I owed him for his classes. And he was only charging $60. But the problem with Memphis Judo and Jiu-Jitsu is that they were charging $70 per class. I mean, not per class, but per martial art. So if you wanted to do boxing, in other words, if you wanted to do boxing and do another art, that was $140. And if you wanted to do a third art, that's $210. Nigga wasn't making money like that. God forbid you wanted to do boxing, Muay Thai, and Judo and Jiu-Jitsu, because you would have been looking at what, $280 for four martial arts that I now have access to, complete access to online, with a one-time membership payment, annual payment of $200 for the most part. That's what I mean when I say it's our time. It's a new day. It's a different day. Because I've always, like I said, I always felt like I was leaning on the fence when it came to martial arts, period. Whether it was traditional, whether it's the MMA stuff in general. But that's all I cared about. And along with that, along with working out and stuff, keeping yourself in shape, of course. I did the foreign language thing, acquired 52 languages with the limited resources that I had, very limited resources, basically getting it up out the mud, and the culinary skills. So learning how to cook, learning a thing or two about STEM, learning a thing or two about chemistry, physics, calculus. All these things that I did by my own wit, might, and will. no help, no inspiration. I mean, it's like I said earlier, I was basically making a way out of nowhere, based off the strength of my own will, my own grit. And even though, I'm doing this much later on in life, because it ain't like, you know what I'm saying? It ain't like I plan on fighting in the UFC anytime soon. Because the way I see it, man, if I was going to do some shit like that, the kind of training that I was looking for, that I desired, that's the kind of, like, I just don't believe in just putting somebody in a cage fight and expecting them to be any more successful than, like, because, like, it's only going to go so far. Whatever, I don't care what kind of aggression they have, I don't care what kind of knockout power they might naturally have. It's like Mike Tyson said it best, like ability and talent, skill isn't based on, like, I know I'm killing what he said, I'm butchering what he said, but he basically said that, in a nutshell, that skill isn't based on talent. Talent is just, you just got it naturally, but even with that, you still have to build skill. Like, I can attest to that. Like, I may be a natural born polyglot, but damn if you think for a minute that I didn't spend the past 10 to 15 years mastering the script of a lot of these Southeast Asian languages. You still got to put in the work. I don't care how skilled or how talented you think you are. I still had to put in the work. Because I'm here to tell you, Khmer is tough. Cambodian script is tough. The language might not be so tough, but I promise you that script is tough. And to claim to be a master of that shit, that's, that might be proven. You might be proven to be, being a charlatan. That might be a bogus claim on your part. Or somebody put you through the test. Because I've heard people from Cambodia themselves tell me that they don't even fuck with that script. Like, they might speak Cambodian, but they can't, damn sure can't read it. And these are natives telling me that shit. They don't fuck with Cambodian like that. So I'm here to tell you, I put in the work. I may not speak native level Cambodian, but damn if I can't read it. Damn if I can't read it. I was just looking at this goofy ass ninja movie from Scott Adkins, and ironically enough, the movie's called Ninja, and it's basically about this dude who lives in Japan. Yeah, this guy Gene, right? Who lives in Japan, and his wife gets assassinated by some ninjas or some shit, and he has to go like between Thailand and Myanmar to find some corrupt Yakuza motherfuckers, like, living up. They're basically selling drugs throughout Southeast Asia and shit. And yeah, all the Thai and Burmese, and yeah, I was like, yeah, that's the fruit of the fact that I can read that shit, that's the fruit of my labor. Because you didn't hear, for the most part, they were speaking Japanese, but you did see, but I did get to see on there, like, Thai and Burmese script. And the fact that I could read that shit, I was like, yeah, that's the fruit of my labor. What I've been doing the past 15, 16 years. Like I said, the culinary skills. The fact that I've been cooking, and I'm always self-doubting myself. I'm always shooting myself in the foot, wondering if I'm good enough. And I was just thinking, well, the evidence that I'm good enough comes from the fact that people react positively when they smell my food versus when they smell somebody else's food. Because like I said, I live in this group home, and they be cooking too. When I cook what I cook, people react. I get a positive reaction. I get a positive reaction from nature because dogs. Some of these people own dogs, and they be running up to me. At least this one dog runs up to me, licking our chops. Can't wait to eat my chicken. And then other folks be cooking what they be cooking from their native countries. And yeah, it basically smelled like, I swear to God, got the whole house smelling like, imagine smelling like some African curry with chitlins and booty hole. That's basically pig intestines in pig booty hole. That's basically what it's smelling like. So I'm like, as much as I doubt myself, I ain't got the room smelling like that. Y'all see my vids where I've been cooking all these different cuisines from Asia. And so, I'm just trying to put two and two together. Why am I doubting myself? I've put in the work. And that's the crux of what I'm getting to before this video go off on me or chop off to the next vid. Hopefully I can get it within the 59-minute range so I can go and cut this off, because I've pretty much said what I needed to say. Is that no more doubting, no more waiting, no more bullshitting. Now, as far as the martial arts go, of course I got to make up for that, like all that lost time, because like I said, it's all kinds of Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I even found, along with Gracie University, which I'm not subscribed to yet. I'm subscribed to like a lesser version, like the Renzo Gracie, and I can't really say I like it all that much, because I've been subscribed to C-Lot and wrestling. I've been learning wrestling from Perla Wrestling Academy, Colot Wrestling. Like, I'm basically, like I said, living the dream, learning this stuff that